All right, corny. Let's get into prison and what's going on with it today, how we can improve it, and some approaches that aren't as idealistic. This doesn't take into account racial inequalities. This is just specifically speaking about people who are convicted of crimes. First and foremost, we gotta do away with life sentences for nonviolent crimes. We really gotta do away with life sentencing, period, but more on that later. Listen, if the greed for money or the need to survive prompts you into committing actions that are illegal, but nobody ends up being seriously hurt or injured from it, then more than likely the damage is rectifiable. In these case scenarios, 5 years should be a maximum in which you are imprisoned and held captive. Now, I'm not saying that's 100% of the consequences that you should get. People may need to work to pay off their debts even after they leave prison. There may be a situation in which certain liberties might need to be stripped. But whatever we decide on that front is a much better option than having someone held in chains for the better part of their life, especially when the result of their actions have been smoothed over for years and years prior. Now, I said more on that later. It's later. Total maximums have to be implemented. I don't care if it's concurrent. I don't care what crime you committed. And I know a lot of people are saying, oh, what about this crime, this crime, this crime? And they start to mention more and more heinous crimes. I'm taking all that into account. And this is being implemented in the world, of course. Norway, certain places in South America, etc. There should be a cap in how much time you are able to serve. Let's say we cap it at 20 for the worst crimes that we can think of. What we're trying to do with the prison system is not punish people for what they've done as much as we are trying to rehabilitate them so that they aren't liable to commit the same actions. Now, I'm not saying that everybody has the ability to be rehabilitated. However, there needs to be an evaluation to see whether or not this person can be a productive member of society. If they aren't, we can extend it for 5 more years. If they are, allow them to be implemented back into a world that accepts them. That leads to my next topic concerning prison. It needs to be rehabilitation as opposed to punishment. The goal shouldn't be to harm the person that harmed another individual. In a heightened society, the goal should be to try and fix the person, for lack of a better term, so that they can improve themselves while they're in prison, giving people the ability to gain skills, understand themselves, and then once they leave, have the ability to work and still be deemed a member of society as opposed to a constant threat. It will make them less likely to be repeat offenders, and they would have the added benefit of not being punished indefinitely for the actions that they committed. Those are all idealistic case scenarios in a perfect world, right? But what can we do to change things to better people today? What we need to do now is eradicate the death penalty nationwide. As long as the death penalty stands, 2 things is going to happen. Saying the worth of a person is only determined by their worst action, and you're liable to kill people who are innocent. Whatever threshold you have in terms of the number of people who are innocent that are being killed doesn't sit right with me. Because as long as one person ends up dying for something that they did not do systematically by the government, we need to cut it off. Lastly, if you're innocent until proven guilty, stop treating innocent people as guilty people. Accusations shouldn't land you in the same facility as hardened and convicted criminals. If you're being treated as a prisoner while you are still technically innocent, it's a tad bit oxymoronic and 100% unfair. And that's just about it for today.